Hey, what is going on, guys? Here at my girlfriend Kenzie's house, and today we are going to do the awesome Steven Universe / Gem Knight deck. Woo!
Yay!
Yeah, so we have our main, extra, and side deck here. For the deck profile, I'll explain some of the card choices. Also go through some alternative card choices as well for what you could play. I'll admit that there are a couple cards I could play to make this a bit more consistent, but they're really, really expensive, so not about that life. So we're going to start off here with the normal monsters. Starting us off, we have the free Garnet and the 2 Tourmaline. We're playing a high number of the normal monsters because I'm maxing out on Rescue Rabbit and Unexpected Dai, basically to get these normal monsters out of the deck. We just want to have as many of fusion materials as possible to make as many fusion plays as possible. I play more Garnet because, for one, it's higher attack power at 1900, and also its fusion Gem Knight Ruby is a bit better than Tourmaline's fusion Gem Knight Topaz. Next we have the 2 Gem Knight Amber. This is a Gem Knight monster. For those of you who don't know how Gem Knight monsters work, basically it counts as a normal monster in the graveyard and when it's first summoned to the field, and then you have to use your normal summon to give its effect. Its Gem Knight effect is that once per turn you can discard a Gem Knight card to add back a banished monster back to your hand. So basically the play you do with it is you use your normal summon on it, you discard Gem Knight Fusion to add back one of your banished Gem Knights. It'll be one that you banish for Gem Knight Fusion to recycle it back. And of course you can use Gem Knight Fusion's effect to recycle it back from graveyard. So Amber is really key to the deck to actually extend some of your combos. And again, it is a normal monster for Obsidian and Lazuli. I just wish it would count as a normal monster in deck so I could summon it off of Unexpected Dai and Rescue Rabbit. Then for the final one, we have the 1 Gem Knight Lapis, solely here as a material for Gem Knight Lady Lapis Lazuli, which I'll get to in the extra deck. Lady Lapis Lazuli is an amazing card, but Lapis just isn't as strong as the other normals, so we're only playing the 1. Only really need 1. Next, for the cards that get us back our normal monsters, we have the free Lazuli and the free Obsidian. So if Lazuli, if it's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, whether it's from hand, from field, from deck, you get to add back a normal monster from your graveyard back to your hand. So it's a bit more versatile than Obsidian because you can send it from deck through Foolish Burial or Brilliant Fusion to get its effect off. With Obsidian, if it's sent from hand to the graveyard, you can special summon a normal monster from your graveyard. The nice thing with him is that it doesn't say by card effect, so you can actually get it if it's discarded by cost through, say, Twin Twister. Plus, summoning a monster back from graveyard can be a bit better sometimes in Lazuli because it helps you get a bit extra damage on board. And these just help to make sure that your fusion plays aren't so minus and you're recovering back one of your materials. Then for the final gem monster, we have the free Gem-Armadillo. This card would be so much better if it actually had Gem Knight in its name, but unfortunately it is just Gem-Armadillo. It at least still is a rock monster that you can use for Zirconia, also a level 4 if you rank 4 plays, and basically you just normal summon this and add any of the Gem Knights you need from deck to your hand, which is usually going to be Gem Knight Obsidian, so it just helps get more resources to your hand to use for your fusion plays. On to our 1-0. Starting off, we have Rose Quartz in the Flesh, the 1 Crystal Rose. So this is, for 1, a rock monster for Zirconia, also a light monster, our only light monster in the main deck for Seraphinite. Basically, with its on-field effect, you can send a Gem Knight monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and then it copies its name until the end of the turn. So it's kind of like a shape-shifting gem, in a way. Also, when it's in the graveyard, you can banish a fusion monster from your graveyard to special summon it back to the field. So even when Rose Quartz dies, it always comes back to protect, her Steven. Then for the final monster, we have the 1, not the final monster, but we have the 1 Rescue Rabbit. We play this to get either Gem Knight Garnet or Gem Knight Tourmaline out of the deck. Lets us banish this to get 2 copies of it out of the deck, either for a rank 4 play, or to just have more materials for our fusion plays. Then for the final monster, the real final monster, we have the 2 Maxx, just for more draw power and speed. A lot of decks special summon right now, so we're playing as many Maxx as we can just to take advantage of that and get us more cards. So that's it for monsters. Starting off with our fusion spells, we max out on all of them. The free Gem Knight Fusion, the free Brilliant Fusion, and finally the free Absorb Fusion. So starting off with Gem-Knight Fusion, I could make an argument that this is honestly the best fusion spell on its own in the game. So of course it has the usual polymerization effect to where I know, you make fun of me for moving my cards around. I can't help it, I'm Italian. See my hands? So yeah, Gem-Knight Fusion. You send materials from your hand or field to the graveyard to fusion summon a Gem-Knight monster from your extra deck. And then when it's in the graveyard, you can banish a Gem-Knight monster from your graveyard to add it back to your hand. And the best thing about this effect is it's not once per turn. So you can recur this Gem-Knight Fusion back as many times as you want. And with just the one Gem-Knight Fusion, I've had combos where I've been able to fusion summon 4, 5, even 6 times in one turn. So Gem-Knight Fusion, just absolutely amazing for the deck. Then we have the free Brilliant Fusion. Kind of weird to see this card in a deck that is Gem-Knights because it's used in so many other decks. So usually what you'll do in Gem-Knights is you'll send 3 Gem-Knights to the graveyard, at least one of them being Lazuli, and then summon out the Gem-Knight Lady Brilliant Diamond, since she requires 3 Gem-Knights. And then you'll get Lazuli's effect to add back normal monsters. So overall, you get free cards out of your deck. You get one of those cards, if not 2 of those cards, back to your hand. And then Lady Brilliant Diamond, just a really excellent card, which I'll get to in the extra deck. So Brilliant Fusion overall, just a really good card. You could use it to go into Seraphinite if you need to, but it's way better to use it to go into Lady Brilliant Diamond. Then for Absorb Fusion, just basically you add a Gem-Knight card from your deck to your hand, which if you don't have Gem-Knight Fusion, you're always going to add Gem-Knight Fusion. Only downside is that you can only use it once per turn, and can only special summon Gem-Knights that turn, so you can't go into any of your Xyz plays. But overall, Absorb Fusion, we max out on it because we really need to see Gem-Knight Fusion as early as possible. Next, we have the triple Unexpected Dai, just another card to get our normal monsters out of deck. If you control no monsters, we can just special summon any level 4 or lower normal monster from deck. So that can be Gem-Knight Garnet, Gem-Knight Tourmaline, or even Gem-Knight Lapis, whatever we need. Next, we have the triple Twin Twister. Because this deck has a hard time playing through back row, we need something to kind of counteract that. Plus, we don't really mind discarding cards, especially if it's a Gem-Knight Fusion or even a Gem-Knight Obsidian. Next on the 1-ofs, we have the 1 Dark Hole and the 1 Raigeki to get rid of annoying monsters on board, especially things like Cyber Dragon Infinity, Hope Harbinger, things like that can really stun our plays. Hi, dog.
It's gonna pick up Gracie.
That's alright. Next we have the 1 Foolish Burial. This is to dump any of the Gem-Knights we need in graveyard. We can dump Gem-Knight Lazuli to get its effect. We can dump a normal monster to the graveyard that we want to recover back off of Obsidian or Lazuli. So just overall deck thinning. Then for the final spell, we have the 1 Upstart Goblin for some more draw power. Since it's for main deck, total of 40 cards, 21 monsters and 19 spells. Couple of different things you could consider for the main deck. First is what is it called? Different Dimension Reincarnation. It's an equipped spell to where you discard a card to special summon a banished monster from the banished zone. So kind of like an Amber, except it summons a monster back to the field. It's a pretty decent card, but unlike Gem-Knight Amber, it's not something you can also use for your fusion plays, so that's why I personally don't play it. And then the obvious thing is Pot of Desires and also Into the Void. Those cards just add a lot of speed and a lot of draw power to the deck, but unfortunately they are very expensive right now. Pot of Desires just this morning is at low $80 on its own, and at low Into the Void is $15. So if you happen to have them, or you want to actually ball out and spend the money on this deck, then by all means max out on those. What I would take out for those 6 cards, I'll just show really quick. Would take out the 2 Maxx, the 1 Rescue Rabbit, just because you would never really have enough normal monsters engraved or in deck to resolve it. Is that a lot of glare?
There's a lot of glare.
Yeah.
It's like, that's better.
You would take out Rescue Rabbit because you'd probably banish too many of your normals off of Pot of Desires. Probably 1 out of your 3 Gem-Armadillos. What else here? You would take out 1 of our 3 Twin Twisters, because there are a few meta decks right now that don't really run a lot of back row, especially Blue Eyes, so we could just kind of side it. And then finally 1 of our 3 Garnet. So those 6 cards, if you have them, I would take those. take those 6 out for free Pod Desires and free Into the Voids. Alright, so now on to the extra deck. Take 2 and action. Alright, so starting this off, we have the one Lady Brilliant Diamond. By far the best fusion in the extra deck. Takes 3 Gem Knights to make, but she more than repays you for what it costs to make her. 3,400 attack. Also, with her effect, you can tribute a Gem Knight monster you control, including yourself, to spell summon any of your other Gem Knight fusion monsters from the extra deck, ignoring their summoning conditions. So what you'll usually do is you'll usually summon out Lady Lapis Lazuli off that effect, because she's basically a Lavalval chain that burns. So if Lady Lapis Lazuli requires a Lapis plus another Gem Knight monster normally, but you usually summon her with Brilliant Diamond. And then once per turn, you can send a Gem Knight monster from your extra deck or main deck to the graveyard, and then inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each Spell Summon monster you control. So with that effect, you can do anywhere from 500 all the way up to... Wait, yeah, it's... Or no, not you control, but every Spell Summon monster on the field, I'm sorry. So yeah, that effect alone can do anywhere from 500 to 5,000 damage to your opponent off of that one card. Plus, you can just send Gem Knight Lazuli and get its effect to recover back a normal monster. So, Lady Lapis Lazuli, overall, just a really excellent card. Only reason I play just the one of each of them is because you can only summon one of each per turn. And this deck is geared towards being fast, so it would very rarely come up to where you'd ever need the second one. Then we have the one Master Diamond. Also requires 3 Gem Knights to make. His main purpose is usually to copy Lady Lapis Lazuli's effect after you've used it once, so you can get double burn damage off of that. I've actually did have one time where I was actually able to game my opponent with just the burn damage off of the one Lady Lapis Lazuli and the one Brilliant Diamond. Because with Brilliant Diamond, you banish a fusion monster from your graveyard that's 7 or lower, level 7 or lower, and then you copy its effect until the end of the turn. So, yeah, Master Diamond, overall pretty good. Next we have the 2 Zirconia, requires a rock monster and a Gem Knight monster. No effect, just a 2,900 attacker, pretty decent attack power. Also is a level 8 that we can use to go into rank 8 plays, which actually does come up more than you think. Then we have the 1 Prismaura, requires a Gem Knight and a Thunder monster. Basically, once per turn you can discard a Gem Knight card, a Gem Knight card from your hand to destroy 1 face-up card in the field. Usually you just discard Gem Knight Fusion, which you can just add back to pop any face-up card you need to get off the field. Next we have the 1 Ruby, requires a Garnet and another Gem Knight monster. Already starts out at 2,500 attack, but with its effect, you contribute another Gem Knight monster you control to have Ruby gain its attack power until the end of the turn. So Ruby can get to really high attack power. The most it can actually get to is 5,900 attack if you tribute a Lady Brilliant Diamond, so it can beat over just about anything you need it to. Next we have the 1 Seraphinite. You don't go into this nearly as much as most other decks do with Brilliant Fusion, but it's still there if you need it. It can be cool to get the extra normal summon off to get Amber's effect, and yeah, of course requires a Gem Knight and 1 Light monster. Then for the final Gem Knight, we have the 1 Topaz, requires a Tourmaline and another Gem Knight monster. It's only 1,800 attack, but it can actually attack twice, so it swings for a bit more damage than Zirconia does. And then also it inflicts inflicts effect damage to your opponent, equal to the attack of the monster it destroys whenever it destroys a monster by battle. So Topaz overall is just decent for some extra damage. Also a pretty decent effect that you can copy with Master Diamond as well, since it has much higher attack power. So that's it for the fusions. For the Xyz, starting off with the rank 4s, we have the 1 Abyss Dweller to lock down graveyard effects. This is especially for the Burning Abyss and Cosmo matchup, because them being able to float with their graveyard effects and just wall up on you can stop you from getting the OTKs. So that's why Abyss Dweller is here. Next we have the 1 Castel to spin away any troublesome face-up cards on the board. Next we have the combo of Utopia and Utopia Lightning. Granted, we do have Ruby that can beat over bigger monsters, but Lightning's kind of a combo of Dweller and, or not Dweller, but Armades and Ruby all in one card. Just get itself up to 5,000 attack, and then makes it to where they can't do any battle phase effects. Next we have the 1 rank 5, which is the 1 Artifact Durendal. I may do a combo video later to show you how you can actually end a board going first turn 1 with a rank 5 and a rank 8 with Lady Brilliant Diamond. But this is here for that play when it does come up. Just basically requires a Gem Knight Fusion, a Brilliant Fusion, and any other Gem Knight monster. And just Artifact Durendal is the best rank 5. Can negate cards by making them pop one of your cards, one of your face-up spell and traps. So overall, Durendal's pretty good. Then for the 1 rank 8 for our 2 Zirconias, we have the 1 Hope Harbinger, just for negating those pesky spell effects. So that is it for the extra deck. Now to wrap it up with the side deck. Starting us off, we have the 3 Denko Sekka, because this deck does not like back row. This is mostly what we'll side in going second if we're going against a set 5 deck, just because there's not much we can do against that, even with a Twin Twister. Next we have the 2 Effect Failure for some effect negation going seconds.
I'm over here on the side.
Okay, yeah, the 2...
There's less glare.
Sorry. The 2 Ghost Ogre, just for popping cards going seconds, and because she's a pretty anime girl. The 2 Gamaceil, a good way to get rid of annoying monsters, especially Herald of Perfection going second, because that Herald deck... It's probably the scariest matchup this deck has. If they can make a Herald with multiple negates in hand, plus a Arc Lord Christia that negates Spell Summoning, really the Gamaceil is your only out to that. So, well, unless they have the Christia, but yeah, Gamaceil is just here for Herald, Infinity, things like that. Next we had a 2 System Down for the Cosmo and ABC matchup that's coming out. Next, for a few cards we side in if we are forced to go first. We have the triple Solemn Strike and the 1 Solemn Warning. Just in general, the best trap cards in the game. And then, as I mentioned, there would be some main deck changes if I did own Pot of Desires and Into the Voids. I would also change up the side deck too. Not the most ideal build. Would probably take out the 2 Ghost Ogres. Let's see here, 2 Ghost Ogres.
Oh, Gracie, get down. This is my dog.
Hi, Gracie.
Get down.
2 Ghost Ogres, 2 System Downs, and I believe 2 Effect Failure. So the System Downs would become the 3rd Twin Twister and the 2nd Dark Hole, because I would side out one of the Twin Twisters and put in the 2nd Dark Hole in this slot just for going second. These would become 2 Typhoons. Because while Twin Twister can be chained to Anti-Spell Fragrance to get over that, and that's just a card that really wrecks this deck, but it unfortunately can't be used against Secret Village of the Spellcasters if they go first. So the Typhoon's just there to get over annoying floodgates that can get in your way. And then the 2 Effect Failure... Hi, Gracie. The 2 Effect Failure would become 2 Floodgate Trap Holes, just as another really good stun trap card if we're forced to go first to stun our opponent's plays. So that is it for this brand new deck profile on Steven Universe Gem Knights for my girlfriend. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Big thank you to Kenzie for recording behind the camera. Her channel is That Goth Girl if you want to check her out.
There's Gracie.
So yeah, that's it guys. I'll catch you next time.